It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus. What if I told you that the very first thing women notice about men isn't just about looks, style, or even confidence, but something far deeper, rooted in ancient wisdom and timeless strength? Imagine unlocking the secret that could transform your presence and magnetic appeal without changing a single thing about your appearance. In this video, what women notice first in men, the first thing women notice about men, Stoicism, the Stoic way, we dive into the powerful intersection between Stoic philosophy and attraction. You'll discover how the principles of Stoicism, mastering emotions, embodying calmness, and exuding quiet confidence, can make you genuinely irresistible. Stay with us till the very end, because the real secret is not just about what women see, but what they feel when they're around you. The insights we share will challenge everything you thought you knew about attraction and give you tools to radiate strength and presence effortlessly. Ready to see yourself through a new lens? Let's explore what truly makes a man stand out the Stoic way. Don't miss a moment. Your transformation starts now. Number 1. Confidence. It's something women notice almost immediately in a man. But let me be clear, this isn't about loud bravado or flashy displays. Real confidence is quieter, steadier, and deeper. It's the kind of presence that doesn't shout but still commands attention. The Stoics understood this well. Once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That strength is what true confidence is all about. It comes from knowing yourself, accepting where you are, and moving forward with a calm, steady determination. So, if you want to be the kind of man women are naturally drawn to, it's time to build this inner strength and own your confidence like a Stoic warrior. First, recognize that confidence starts within. It's not something you get from others or from external validation. It's a muscle you develop by mastering your thoughts and emotions. You need to learn how to face discomfort without fleeing, how to keep your mind clear when everything around you feels chaotic. This is the foundation, the unshakable core that makes you magnetic. You're not just acting confident. You are confident because you've trained your mind to be steady and resilient. Try this simple exercise. Each morning, remind yourself that external things are out of your control. Your reactions, your choices, that's your domain. Repeat it until it sinks in. You'll start to feel a subtle shift, a calm that nothing can break. Now, confidence also grows when you face fear head-on. The Stoics taught that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. When you push yourself out of your comfort zone, even in small ways, you're rewiring your brain to be stronger. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting, trying something new, or simply holding eye contact longer in a conversation. Every small win builds your confidence bank. It's like stacking bricks. None alone feels monumental, but together they build a fortress. And women notice that fortress. It signals you're a man who's in control, who's not easily shaken. Another essential piece is self-acceptance. This means embracing your flaws and imperfections without judgment. Stoicism reminds us that we are all works in progress and that trying to be perfect is a wasted effort. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it, Epictetus said. This means being honest with yourself about who you are, your strengths, and your weaknesses. When you stop pretending and start being authentic, confidence naturally follows. People, including women, can sense when a man is genuine. It's magnetic. So, practice looking in the mirror and acknowledging what you see without criticism. Tell yourself, "I am enough as I am and I will improve every day." That's powerful. Now, confidence is also about action. Don't wait for it to magically appear. You have to do confident things. Walk with purpose, speak with clarity, and take decisive steps in your life. The Stoics taught that it's in action that virtue is revealed. You can read all the books, but if you don't act, your confidence will stay a wish, not a reality. Set daily goals that stretch you slightly beyond your comfort zone. When you achieve them, no matter how small, celebrate that. Keep a journal to track these wins. Over time, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. That's confidence in motion. Lastly, remember, confidence isn't about being perfect or never feeling doubt. It's about embracing uncertainty and moving forward anyway. It's about being calm in the storm, steady when the world tries to pull you off balance. When you adopt this mindset, you're not just attractive to women, you become a force in your own life. The Stoics called this living according to nature, being true to yourself and accepting what you cannot change. That mindset alone can transform the way you carry yourself, making you someone others want to be around. So start today. Build that quiet power within. Face your fears, accept yourself, take purposeful action. Practice the Stoic principles daily and watch your confidence grow. When you do, you won't just catch women's attention. You'll hold it with a presence that's calm, steady, and deeply magnetic. Number 2, posture and body language. When it comes to what women notice first in men, posture and body language play an enormous role, far bigger than you might imagine. This isn't just about standing up straight because someone told you to. It's about owning your presence in a way that quietly broadcasts confidence, calm, and strength without you having to say a single word. Remember what's said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Your posture, your stance, they're the physical echoes of your inner state. So, if you want to show up as the kind of man who commands respect and attraction, you have to start from the inside out. Think about how you carry yourself every day. Are your shoulders slumped, chest tight, head down? Or do you move through the world with an open chest, relaxed shoulders, and a calm gaze? When you adjust your posture, you're literally reshaping how the world perceives you, and more importantly, how you perceive yourself. The beauty of this is that it's fully within your control. It's a habit you can build that speaks volumes louder than any words or flashy moves. The Stoics remind us that it's not external things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Here, your body language is a judgment about your own worth and your own calm. Change the judgment, change the body language. So how do you start? First, take a moment to check in with yourself. Stand in front of a mirror or even just feel your body right now. Are you gripping tension anywhere? Are you pulling in on yourself like you're trying to make yourself smaller? That's a natural response to stress or insecurity, but it's also a signal to others that you're unsure or defensive. Instead, begin with something as simple as taking a deep breath and lifting your chest slightly, allowing your shoulders to roll back gently. It's not about puffing up or forcing a rigid stance. It's about finding a posture that reflects calm assurance, a physical version of "I am here, I am steady." Try this exercise. Each morning before you start your day, stand tall and close your eyes. Feel your feet rooted firmly to the ground. Imagine a string pulling the top of your head toward the sky, elongating your spine. Breathe deeply and slowly. Hold that posture for a minute or two, noticing how your body feels when it's balanced and open. This practice isn't just about appearance. It's about embodying strength, resilience, and presence. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes, until it's no longer a conscious effort but your default state. And don't stop there. Body language is dynamic. It flows with your emotions and your mindset throughout the day. When you're walking, aim to keep your head level, your gaze forward, not down at your feet or distracted. When you speak, let your gestures be deliberate but relaxed, your movements purposeful. Silence can be powerful when paired with stillness. The calm energy you emit can draw people in more than any loud words or forced charm ever could. Here's the deeper Stoic truth to anchor this habit. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastering your posture and body language is a step toward mastering yourself. It's a quiet rebellion against chaos. your own inner turmoil and the distractions of the outside world. When your body reflects steadiness and control, your mind will begin to align with that strength. It's a feedback loop that builds momentum, shaping you into the kind of man who is naturally attractive because he's grounded. So start now. Notice how you carry yourself at this very moment. Adjust if needed. Don't wait for someone else to tell you to stand tall or be confident. Own it for yourself. Let your body speak the truth of your inner resilience. The way you move through the world is the first chapter of your story, and it's already telling a story about who you are. Make sure it's a story worth hearing. Number 3, facial features and grooming. When it comes to what women notice first in men, facial features and grooming often take center stage. But here's the thing. It's not about having a chiseled jawline or perfect skin. It's about the way you carry yourself through your face and how you respect the vessel that holds your spirit. The Stoics remind us that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Your face is a canvas, yes, but the real masterpiece is how you maintain and present it. When you take care of your grooming, you're not just trying to look good for others. You're showing yourself a kind of respect that radiates confidence and discipline. That's magnetic. It draws attention without even trying. Start by looking at your face as an honest reflection of your inner state. Is your skin cared for? Do you keep your beard or facial hair clean and intentional? Simple acts like washing your face daily, trimming your beard regularly, or even learning how to properly care for your skin are more than vanity. They're small yet powerful practices that build a habit of self-respect and presence. You want to look in the mirror and see a man who honors himself, not because you want to impress someone else, but because you know you deserve that respect. This mindset alone changes the way others perceive you. It adds a subtle but unmistakable glow to your demeanor. Now, take a moment and consider the power of grooming as a daily ritual. When you take the time to groom yourself with care, you're practicing the Stoic discipline of focusing on what is within your control. You can't control every part of your appearance, but you can control how you present yourself. Seneca once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastering your grooming is a step toward that mastery. It trains your mind to pay attention to detail, to embrace routine, and to build habits that shape your character. And when your character shines through, your face becomes more than just a physical feature. It becomes an expression of your inner strength. Don't just rush through grooming as a chore. Instead, treat it as an opportunity to practice mindfulness. Feel the water on your skin, notice the texture of your beard or hair, and enjoy the small moments of care. When you do this consistently, it's not just about looking better, it's about becoming better. This is how you build confidence, quietly and steadily. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't shout but instead commands respect effortlessly. If you're wondering where to start, here's a simple exercise you can do every morning. Stand in front of your mirror, look at yourself directly in the eyes, and say aloud, "I am worthy of care and respect." Then, take 5 minutes to groom yourself with intention. Focus on what you're doing, from washing your face to styling your hair. Notice how this small act affects your mood and mindset. Try it for a week and watch how your self-perception and the way others see you shifts. Remember, Stoicism isn't about perfection. It's about progress and resilience. Your grooming routine doesn't have to be elaborate, but it should be consistent. It's about showing up for yourself every day in small ways that add up to big changes. The first thing women notice is not just a face, but a man who respects himself enough to take care of his appearance with quiet pride and discipline. When you embody that, you radiate a kind of strength that goes beyond skin deep. So take action today. Cleanse your face with purpose. Trim that beard or shave with intention. Look in the mirror and meet the gaze of a man committed to his growth. This simple practice aligns with the Stoic ideal of living according to nature and reason, nurturing your body as the temple of your soul. Because when you honor your exterior, you fuel the confidence that naturally draws others in. And that, more than anything, is what women truly notice first. Number 4, eye contact. When it comes to what women notice first in men, one thing stands out above many others: eye contact. It's more than just looking someone in the eyes. It's a powerful, silent conversation that speaks volumes without a single word. Imagine this. The eyes are often called the windows to the soul, and this isn't just poetic fluff. Your gaze holds the power to convey confidence, honesty, and presence. A great Stoic philosopher said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you engage in genuine eye contact, you're showing that your mind is present, focused, and calm. That's magnetic. You don't have to be loud or flashy. Just being truly present is enough to draw attention. You need to understand that eye contact is a practice, not just a reflex. Many shy away from it or don't realize how often they break the gaze too soon, losing that vital connection. Here, where you can take action, start by simply becoming more aware of your gaze. When you're talking to someone, don't dart your eyes around like you're trying to escape. Hold it steady, not in a starring contest way, but like you're genuinely interested. It's a dance, not a duel. This shows you're grounded, and in the eyes of others, grounded men are attractive men. Seneca reminded us that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Don't let your fear of eye contact hold you back. Practice makes perfect. Try this. Next time you're in a conversation, consciously hold eye contact for a little longer than usual. Notice how it feels. You might feel a bit vulnerable, and that's good. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's a doorway to real connection. It builds trust and signals that you're comfortable in your own skin. This isn't about staring blankly, it's about connecting on a deeper level. When you're able to do this, you show emotional strength, something that's rare and powerful. A calm, steady gaze says you're not hiding. You're not afraid, you're here, fully engaged. This kind of presence makes others feel seen and valued. If you want to truly harness this quality, practice in small moments throughout your day. Look in the mirror and hold your own gaze for 10 to 15 seconds. Feel the intensity and calmness that arises when you stop avoiding yourself. This will build your comfort with eye contact and teach you to be present with yourself first, because Stoicism teaches that inner mastery is the foundation for outer influence. As Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." To be a man who commands attention, you must first master your own presence. Also, be mindful of your emotions while making eye contact. If you feel anxious, acknowledge it without judgment, then gently bring your focus back to the other person. This small discipline trains your mind to stay calm and composed no matter what. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to maintain that quiet strength that Stoics so admired. And it's this quiet strength that draws people in, because it speaks of someone who's in control, not controlling but controlled. You can't fake it, you have to be it. So start today. Look people in the eye, steady and sure. Let your gaze be a reflection of your inner calm and integrity. Remember that this is a skill, and like any skill, it flourishes with consistent effort. The next time you're in a conversation, don't rush away from the eyes. Linger just a moment longer, hold that steady presence, and watch how the dynamic shifts. You're not just making eye contact, you're making a statement. You are here, you are present, and you are a man who understands the power of connection. This simple shift will change the way people see you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. Number 5, overall demeanor and energy. When it comes to what women notice first in men, it's not just about looks or how well you dress. What truly stands out, the thing that sticks long after a glance, is your overall demeanor and energy. It's that subtle vibe you give off, the way you carry yourself in any room, and how steady your presence feels. Think about it. A man who walks with quiet confidence, who's calm and collected even when chaos brews around him, naturally draws attention. That energy is magnetic. It tells a story before you say a word. You see, the Stoics teach us that our outward behavior is a reflection of our inner world. Reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. When you master your internal state, your energy radiates stability. You become a rock in a sea of uncertainty. Women, consciously or not, are drawn to that kind of groundedness because it signals reliability and strength without arrogance. It's not about being loud or flashy. It's about being steady, approachable, and real. If you want to shift your demeanor and energy, the first step is to slow down your reactions. When something unexpected happens, resist the urge to immediately react with frustration or anxiety. Instead, pause, take a deep breath, center yourself. This is not just a moment to catch your breath, but to remind yourself that you control your responses. Practice this often. You can even start by spending 5 minutes a day in quiet reflection, simply observing your thoughts without judgment. This builds mental resilience and helps you stay calm under pressure. Another powerful practice is to be fully present in your interactions. Look people in the eye, listen without planning your next sentence, and engage genuinely. Women notice when you're truly there with them, not distracted or pretending. This presence comes from a place of respect and self-awareness, traits that the Stoics value deeply. Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." When you embody that, your energy shifts from restless to grounded, making you far more attractive. Here's a simple but effective exercise you can do daily. As you go about your routine, check in with yourself periodically. Ask, what energy am I putting out right now? Am I calm? Am I open? Am I tense? Become aware of how your emotions affect your posture, tone, and expression. When you notice tension or negative energy creeping in, breathe deeply and reset. Over time, this self-awareness becomes second nature, and your natural energy smooths out into something steady and inviting. Remember, being attractive through your demeanor isn't about perfection. It's about consistency and authenticity. The Stoics didn't chase external validation. They focused on living in accordance with nature and virtue. When you embody honesty, patience, and courage, your energy aligns with these principles, and that alignment is what truly captivates. You have the power to change the energy you bring into every room. It starts with your mindset, your commitment to inner calm, and your willingness to be present. Don't wait for the world to be perfect before you feel steady. Start cultivating that calm within yourself right now. Your demeanor is a silent language. Speak it clearly, with strength and grace, and watch how everything around you shifts. Women notice, and more importantly, they respect the man who owns his energy with quiet confidence and unshakable calm. Thanks for watching. Now that you know what women notice first in men and how Stoicism plays into it, it's time to take that insight and make it your own. Remember, it's not about changing who you are. It's about embracing confidence, presence, and calm strength in every moment. If you found this video valuable, hit that like button, subscribe for more wisdom on the Stoic way, and share your thoughts below. What's the first thing you notice in others? Until next time, stay strong, stay steady, and keep walking your path with purpose. See you in the next one. He who fears death will never do anything worth of a man who is alive. Seneca. What if I told you that the qualities women find truly attractive in older men aren't about looks, wealth, or status, but something far deeper and far more powerful? Imagine unlocking a magnetic confidence that comes from inner peace, wisdom, and self-control. What if this secret could transform how women see you, making you irresistible in a way you never expected? Welcome to this eye-opening journey where we dive into the female gaze and reveal what women really find attractive in older men. Spoiler alert, it's all rooted in the timeless principles of Stoicism, a philosophy that's helped men for centuries master themselves, face life's challenges calmly, and radiate genuine strength. Stick with me till the very end of this video, because the insights you'll gain won't just change your perspective. They'll empower you to embody the kind of presence that naturally draws respect, admiration, and yes, attraction. Ready to discover how Stoic wisdom can turn the tables on aging and attraction? Let's dive in. Number 1. Confidence, rooted in life experience. Confidence is one of those magnetic qualities that can't be faked or bought. It grows slowly, like a tree rooted deep in the rich soil of your life experience. When you're older, confidence isn't about showing off or putting on a front. It's a quiet strength that comes from having faced challenges, learned hard lessons, and still standing tall despite it all. It's that calm assurance that says, "I've been through storms, I've made mistakes, and I'm still here, stronger, wiser, and more grounded." This kind of confidence is incredibly attractive because it's genuine. Women can sense it immediately. It's not loud or desperate. It doesn't need to shout to prove itself because it knows its own worth. That's a powerful energy to carry. Now you might be thinking, how do I build that confidence? I'm not perfect. I've got doubts like everyone else. That's exactly the point. Confidence born from life experience isn't about perfection. It's about embracing your journey with all its ups and downs. One of the great Stoic thinkers reminded us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, every obstacle, every setback is an opportunity to grow stronger, to learn more, and to deepen your confidence. Your past isn't a weight, it's your foundation. So how do you start cultivating this kind of unshakable confidence? First, you have to get comfortable with reflection. Take time each day, just 5 or 10 minutes, to sit quietly and think about your experiences. What challenges did you face today, this week, or even years ago? How did you respond? What did you learn? Write it down if you can. This simple habit trains your mind to see obstacles not as failures, but as stepping stones. It rewires your brain to build resilience instead of self-doubt. Next, practice acceptance. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we react. When you stop fighting what's out of your hands and start focusing on your response, you reclaim your power. Imagine the freedom in that. Each time you face a difficult situation, instead of shrinking back, remind yourself, "I control my mind, I choose my attitude." This isn't just a thought, it's a shield against insecurity. The more you lean into acceptance, the more your confidence solidifies because it's no longer fragile or dependent on external validation. Also, challenge yourself regularly. Confidence grows through action. It's not enough to think about being confident, you have to live it. Pick something that scares you or pushes you out of your comfort zone, no matter how small. It could be speaking up more in conversations, trying a new hobby, or setting a personal goal you've been putting off. When you take these steps, you prove to yourself that you can handle discomfort and uncertainty. That feeling of, "I did it," fuels confidence in a way that no pep talk ever will. One practical exercise you can do is to create a victory log. Each day, jot down one thing you handled well, one decision you made with integrity, or one moment you felt proud of yourself. Over time, this list becomes a powerful reminder that you are capable, resilient, and growing. When doubt creeps in, and it will, you have this personal evidence to turn back to. It's your own archive of strength. Remember, true confidence isn't arrogance or entitlement. It's the quiet, steady belief that you have value simply because you exist and because you keep showing up for yourself. Epictetus, another Stoic master, said it perfectly. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So you have the power to choose how you show up in the world every single day. The more you embrace your experience and your ability to respond wisely, the more attractive your confidence becomes, not just to others, but to yourself. So here's the call to action. Start today. Reflect, accept, act, and record. Build your confidence like a craftsman shaping something precious. You don't have to rush or be perfect. Let your life experience be the steady flame that lights your way, and watch how that genuine confidence transforms not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. Number 2, emotional maturity and calmness. When it comes to what women truly find attractive in older men, emotional maturity and calmness stand out like a lighthouse in the storm. This isn't some vague, distant ideal. It's a powerful magnetic energy that you can start cultivating right now, regardless of your age. Imagine this. You walk into a room and instead of reacting impulsively or getting caught up in drama, you remain steady, composed, and thoughtful. That presence, calm, unshakable, is magnetic. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't shout, but quietly commands respect and admiration. Now you might be thinking, emotional maturity, calmness. That sounds nice, but how do I actually get there? The truth is, it starts with awareness, really paying attention to how you react to the world around you. One of Stoicism's greatest voices said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Think about that for a moment. You already have everything you need to become emotionally mature. The strength is inside you. The challenge is training your mind to respond, not react. Here's the thing. Emotional maturity means you don't let your feelings control you. It's about choosing how to respond, even when everything inside you screams to lash out or shut down. You can't control what life throws at you, but you can control how you let it affect your inner peace. And that calmness, real calmness, comes from practicing this control every single day. It's not about suppressing emotions, but mastering them. Try this simple exercise. When something triggers frustration or anger, pause, take 3 deep breaths, feel the sensation in your body without acting on it. Then ask yourself, is this reaction going to help me, or is it just noise I can let go? This tiny habit rewires your brain over time. It builds a pause button between impulse and action. That pause is the gateway to emotional maturity. Women notice this. They see when a man can handle life's chaos without being overwhelmed. That steadiness creates trust. It signals that you can be a rock, not just for yourself, but for others too. Stoicism teaches us that life's difficulties aren't obstacles but opportunities to practice virtue. You might face setbacks, misunderstandings, or unexpected challenges. Instead of seeing these as threats, view them as chances to sharpen your emotional resilience. Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you make this mindset shift, you stop being a slave to your emotions. You start becoming the master of your own experience. Now let's get practical. To grow this emotional maturity and calmness, commit to daily reflection. Every evening, spend a few minutes reviewing your day. Where did you lose your cool? Where did you hold steady? Be honest but kind to yourself. This reflection builds self-awareness, the cornerstone of emotional growth. And remember, this isn't a quick fix. It's a lifelong journey, one that rewards you with greater peace, deeper connections, and yes, that undeniable attractiveness women notice. Another powerful habit, practice gratitude. When you regularly acknowledge what's good in your life, your perspective shifts. You become less reactive because you're anchored in appreciation, not frustration. Even on tough days, gratitude helps you see the bigger picture and stay grounded. You don't have to wait until you're older to start developing this quality. But here's the thing, age often brings more life experience, more moments to practice calmness, and more chances to grow emotionally. Women see this growth. They feel it. And they're drawn to men who carry themselves with that quiet strength, not because they're perfect, but because they're in control of their inner world. So what's your next move? Begin with small, consistent steps. Pause before reacting. Reflect daily. Cultivate gratitude. Remind yourself of wisdom. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. You hold the reins. Choose calm. Choose maturity. Watch how your presence transforms and how others, especially women, are naturally drawn to the steady strength you now embody. Number 3, wisdom and thoughtful decision-making. You know, wisdom isn't just some vague, distant quality reserved for sages or ancient philosophers. It's something you can start building right now, and it's exactly the kind of thing that women notice and deeply respect in older men. When you think about it, wisdom isn't about knowing everything. It's about making thoughtful choices, learning from experience, and calmly navigating life's challenges with clarity and purpose. The way put it, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. That's the heart of wisdom, living with integrity and intentionality. Imagine how magnetic that is. When you decide with care, when your actions reflect deep thought and a calm understanding of the bigger picture, you project a kind of strength that's quiet but unshakable. Women aren't just drawn to flashy displays or youthful energy. They see the weight behind your decisions, the patience that comes from knowing what really matters. This isn't just about avoiding mistakes. It's about approaching life like a steady, purposeful force. You can start to embrace this today. It begins with slowing down, stepping back, and reflecting before you act. In our fast-paced world, it's tempting to rush, react, and make decisions on impulse. But here's a challenge for you. Before you respond to anything today, whether it's an email, a conversation, or a tough situation, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this the right move? What's the way to handle this? This simple habit rewires your mind to think beyond the immediate and consider long-term effects. Over time, this builds a foundation of thoughtful decision-making that doesn't just benefit you. It's a magnetic quality that others can't help but admire. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and accept what we can't. When you're faced with challenges or uncertainty, remind yourself of Epictetus's wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You have the power to choose your response. That's the essence of wisdom, recognizing your own agency and using it deliberately. Women sense that strength, that calm mastery over yourself and your circumstances. It's a powerful form of attraction, rooted in self-mastery and clarity. Now let me push you a bit further. Wisdom isn't something you just get by wishing for it. It's earned through practice. Start journaling every night. Write down the decisions you made that day. Reflect on what went well and what could have been handled better. Don't judge yourself harshly, just observe. This practice not only sharpens your awareness but helps you connect with your inner compass. Over time, you'll notice patterns and develop a clearer sense of what wise choices look like in your life. And here's a little secret. Wisdom thrives in stillness. Make time for quiet moments where you disconnect from noise and distraction. It could be a short meditation, a walk without your phone, or simply sitting with your thoughts for a few minutes. In those moments, you tap into deeper insight. You cultivate the calm from which thoughtful decisions arise. This is exactly the kind of presence that makes you stand out, not because you're loud or flashy, but because you carry a calm certainty that others feel instinctively. So what happens when you live like this? You begin to see life's challenges as opportunities to grow rather than threats to fear. You stop being reactive and start being proactive. Women don't just notice this, they respect it. They see a man who's not just chasing after fleeting pleasures, but someone who understands himself and the world with quiet confidence. You become a man who others turn to for stability, wisdom, and calm guidance. Remember, the Stoics didn't say wisdom was easy. It's a lifelong journey. But every step you take toward thoughtful decision-making makes you more attractive in the truest sense. You become the kind of man who doesn't just age, he evolves, deepens, and inspires. So start today. Slow down, reflect, choose wisely. Watch how your presence shifts, how the way you move through the world becomes magnetic. This is the power of wisdom, and it's waiting for you to claim it. Number 4, authenticity and self-acceptance. If there's one thing that women truly notice, something that no fancy suit or expensive cologne can fake, it's authenticity. And not just any kind of authenticity, but the deep, unshakable kind that comes when you fully accept yourself. That's where the real power lies, and that's exactly what makes older men magnetic in a way that's impossible to overlook. You see, when you've been around the block, when life has thrown its punches and you've stood your ground, you gain something precious, a raw honesty about who you are. This is what draws people in, not because you're perfect, but because you're real. And yes, that means owning your flaws, your quirks, and even the parts you wish were different. Imagine the wisdom of when he said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." There's no point in pretending, no reason to wear a mask that hides the real you. Instead, you're invited to step into your own skin with courage and grace. This isn't about arrogance or overconfidence. It's about recognizing that you are enough just as you are. When you reach this place, you become a kind of quiet force. People, especially women, sense it. They feel it in your energy, in the way you hold yourself, and how you navigate the world. Authenticity is magnetic because it's rare, and it speaks directly to the soul. But here's the catch. This kind of self-acceptance doesn't happen by accident. It's a habit, a daily practice. It means looking in the mirror and saying, "I see you and I'm not running away." It means embracing your story, your scars, and your victories with equal respect. The Stoics teach us that we control our own judgments and attitudes. Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You can't change the past, but you can choose how you carry it forward. So why not carry it with pride? Why not wear your history like armor and a badge of honor rather than a burden? To start living this truth, you need to pause and reflect. Make a habit of journaling your thoughts, but don't just write what's easy. Dig deeper. Write about the things you've struggled with, the fears you face, the ways you might still be hiding from your own light. Then write your commitment to change. Commit to showing up as your true self, no matter the cost. Because real strength isn't about hiding your vulnerabilities, it's about owning them. Another powerful exercise. Practice radical honesty in your daily interactions. When you speak, let your words be clear and true. When you listen, do so with an open heart. Authenticity grows in these small moments. It's in the refusal to play a role just to impress and instead choosing connection over approval. When you do this, you're training yourself to live without fear of judgment, which is incredibly freeing. And here's something to remember as you walk this path. Self-acceptance is not self-pity or complacency. It's an invitation to grow from a place of peace, not pressure. Seneca wisely said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." When you accept yourself fully, you're no longer chained by the need for external validation or the fear of what others think. You're free to be authentic, and that freedom itself is deeply attractive. So what if today you took a moment right now, close your eyes and breathe deeply? Remind yourself that you don't have to be anyone else but you. Feel that. Let it settle in. Then go out into the world carrying that sense of self, not as a shield but as a gift. Because when you do, you're not just more attractive, you're more alive. And that, more than anything, is what women really see and appreciate. Now start this journey today. No more hiding, no more pretending. Step into your power through authenticity and self-acceptance. The world and your relationships will notice, and so will you. Number 5, strength through resilience and stoic mindset. When you think about strength, it's easy to picture muscles or physical power, right? But here's the thing, the kind of strength that truly pulls people in, especially when it comes to what women find attractive in older men, isn't about brawn. It's about resilience. It's about the quiet, steady power that comes from a mindset that refuses to break, no matter what life throws your way. This is the core of the Stoic mindset. Said it best: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You need to realize this for yourself. Strength born from resilience means that no matter how tough the storms are, you don't crumble. You don't let frustration, anger, or fear dictate your mood or your actions. Instead, you stand firm, calm, and collected. And that calm presence, it's magnetic. Women notice it. It's a subtle signal that you're someone who can handle life's challenges with grace. Someone who's been through enough to understand what really matters. And that understanding is incredibly attractive. But this kind of resilience isn't just something you're born with. It's something you build. You cultivate it like a muscle. And just like muscles, it grows stronger with intentional practice and consistent effort. Start with your thoughts. The Stoics taught that you're not controlled by what happens to you, but by how you choose to respond. So catch yourself when you start slipping into negativity. When a problem arises, instead of spiraling into worry or blame, ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, let it go. If it is, focus your energy there. This simple shift rewires your mind toward action and acceptance, two pillars of resilience. Now, this isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending you're unshakable. It's about embracing reality with open eyes and steady heart. When life hits hard, allow yourself to feel, but don't let those feelings become a prison. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Every time you practice this, you're training yourself to bounce back quicker and stand taller. That's strength. It shines through your presence, your voice, your decisions, and trust me, it's incredibly attractive. Here's a little exercise for you to try. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on any challenges you faced. How did you respond? Did you let frustration take over, or did you keep your cool? What could you do differently tomorrow? Write it down. This habit makes resilience tangible. It's like giving your mental muscle a daily workout. Over time, you'll notice a shift. Your reactions become smoother, your mindset tougher, and your confidence deeper. Another practice that brings you closer to that Stoic strength is journaling with intention. Each morning, write down one thing you can control that day. It might be your attitude, your effort, or the way you treat others. Then remind yourself throughout the day, I control this. When you anchor your focus on what's in your power, your stress lessens, your patience grows, and you become a calm force amid chaos. And this calm, it's something women naturally gravitate towards because it feels safe and reassuring. Here's the truth. Resilience built through a Stoic mindset doesn't just make you attractive on the outside. It transforms how you carry yourself, how you interact, and how you inspire others. You become a man who doesn't just endure life's storms, but navigates them with wisdom and quiet strength. And that's magnetic in the most profound way. So if you want to embrace this strength, start small. Catch your thoughts, control your reactions, reflect on your progress, write it down, repeat. Over time, you'll notice your confidence soar because it's grounded in real, unshakable resilience. And remember, as Seneca reminded us, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Your mind is your greatest asset. Invest in it daily. You have the power to become this kind of man. A man who attracts not just through appearance, but through a deep, unspoken strength that radiates from within. It's time to take that power back. Start today. As we wrap up, remember this. True attraction goes far beyond looks or age. It's about the depth, confidence, and wisdom that come from living a meaningful life. Older men who embody Stoic virtues don't just age, they evolve. and that evolution is incredibly magnetic through the female gaze. If you found value in uncovering what women really find attractive in older men, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights that help you grow into your best self. Stay curious, stay strong, and keep mastering the art of living with purpose. Until next time, embrace the power of Stoicism and watch your relationships transform. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. What if I told you that the moment she realizes you're no longer interested, everything changes, not just in her behavior, but in the entire dynamic between you two? That shift in power isn't just about attraction. It's a lesson in control, self-respect, and emotional mastery that Stoic philosophy teaches us deeply. In today's video, we're diving into that powerful moment when your indifference speaks louder than words and the subtle, undeniable shift that follows. This isn't about playing games or manipulation. It's about embodying true Stoic strength, calm, composed, and unshakable. If you've ever felt confused about why someone suddenly changes when you stop chasing, or wondered how to reclaim your power without losing dignity, this video is for you. Stick with me till the very end, because I'm going to reveal not only how this shift works, but how you can use it to elevate your relationships and your own emotional freedom. Trust me, these insights will transform the way you see connection and control forever. Ready to master the Stoic shift in power? Let's get started. Number 1, the moment of detachment. How your calm indifference shifts the dynamic. There's a distinct power that comes from detachment, a calm, unshakable indifference that shifts the entire dynamic between you and her. When you step back emotionally, when you stop chasing or reacting to her every move, something changes. It's subtle, almost invisible at first, but it's profound. This moment of detachment is the pivot point, the turning of the tide where control quietly slides into your hands. And here's the thing, it's not about playing games or manipulation. It's about mastering yourself, about embracing the Stoic principle that true power lies within and cannot be taken by others. You might feel tempted to fill the space with noise, texts, calls, explanations, but resisting that urge is where your strength grows. Reminds us to be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands firm, and around it the waves break. Your calm indifference is that rock. By stepping away from emotional dependency, you reclaim your agency. You're no longer swayed by the highs and lows of her attention. You create a new reality where you are steady and self-contained. This shift unsettles her, because it interrupts the usual flow where she may have held more influence. When you stop giving her the emotional fuel she expects, the dynamic flips. Suddenly, she has to reconsider her own position. The comfort of your availability disappears, replaced by a space that demands respect or at least a new kind of engagement. This is the essence of the Stoic shift in power, not in domination or control, but in self-mastery and presence. Your indifference isn't coldness, it's deliberate tranquility. It's the knowledge that your worth isn't tied to her approval or attention. That realization alone can transform how she sees you. To cultivate this calm indifference, you need to start with your mindset. It's not about suppressing feelings or pretending you don't care. It's about understanding that your peace depends on your own actions, not on external circumstances. Practice daily detachment exercises. Observe your emotions without immediate reaction. Remind yourself that your value is inherent and unchanging, and focus on what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, your responses. Epictetus said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well." Apply this to your interactions. Accept what is, without desperation or clinging. Then translate this inner calm into your behavior. When you respond, do so thoughtfully and sparingly. When you choose silence, do so confidently, not out of anger or spite, but from a place of steady self-possession. This creates a magnetic pull because people naturally gravitate toward those who seem balanced and unshaken by external chaos. You become a center of gravity rather than a satellite orbiting around her moods. Now here's a practical exercise to make this real. Next time you feel the urge to react impulsively to her messages or actions, pause, breathe deeply and ask yourself, is this reaction serving my peace or disturbing it? If it disturbs your peace, choose silence or a measured, calm response instead. Practice this consistently. Over time, you'll notice your emotional equilibrium strengthening, and with it, the subtle shift in the relationship dynamic. Remember, this isn't about proving anything to her or anyone else. It's about proving it to yourself. The greatest power is found in self-command, and through that, you change the whole game without uttering a single dramatic word. Your calm indifference becomes a force that speaks louder than any argument, any chase, or any plea ever could. This is the Stoic way, finding freedom not in controlling others but in mastering yourself. And when you do that, you don't just shift the power, you own it. Number 2, why losing interest can make you more attractive and powerful. Here's something that might surprise you. Losing interest, genuinely losing interest, can actually make you more attractive and powerful. It sounds counterintuitive at first, right? We're often taught that chasing or clinging means desire, passion, and strength. But in reality, the moment you stop chasing, the dynamic shifts completely. When you withdraw your attention, your energy, and your emotional investment, you reclaim your power in a way that's subtle yet undeniable. It's like you become a mystery that can't be easily solved, a force that isn't dependent on external validation. That's magnetic. Why does this happen? Because desire thrives on freedom and respect. When you are too available, too eager, or overly invested, you inadvertently create a pressure that suffocates attraction. You're essentially saying, I need this to feel complete, and that neediness repels rather than attracts. The Stoics remind us through Epictetus that he is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. When you lose interest, not out of spite but out of clarity, you demonstrate that your happiness and self-worth do not hinge on her response. This independence is profoundly attractive. It tells her that you're not just another option, not someone who bends and breaks to fit another's desires, but a man who commands his own world. It's not about playing games or manipulation. It's about genuine self-mastery and self-respect. When you disengage, you show that you control your emotions and your energy. This doesn't mean shutting down or becoming cold. It means recognizing that your peace isn't tied to someone else's approval. That's the essence of Stoic power, being grounded in yourself regardless of external circumstances. When she realizes you're no longer chasing, she sees you in a new light. The tables turn. Suddenly, you hold the power to decide the pace, the depth, and the terms of the relationship. And power, true power, is always attractive. You might be wondering, how do I do this without burning bridges or causing unnecessary pain? Start by shifting your mindset. Instead of thinking of losing interest as giving up, see it as reclaiming your time and energy for what truly serves you. Practice detachment, not as a cold withdrawal but as a calm acceptance of what is. Said, if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed. Apply that wisdom to your feelings. If your interest fades, honor it without guilt or drama. This honesty is liberating for you and respectful to her. Here's a practical exercise for you. When you feel your mind stuck on someone who no longer inspires you, take a moment to breathe deeply and repeat to yourself, my worth is not tied to this connection. Then, redirect your focus to a goal or activity that fuels your growth, something that lights you up inside. This act of turning inward rather than outward shifts your energy from neediness to strength. Over time, this will become a habit. You will find that not only do you feel better, but your presence becomes more compelling. You're no longer a shadow chasing light. You are a light on your own. Remember, the Stoics teach that control over your mind is the greatest freedom you can achieve. When you embrace losing interest as a way to protect your inner peace and dignity, you elevate yourself. You become the person who isn't afraid to walk away from what doesn't serve, and that kind of confidence leaves a mark that lingers long after you've left the room. So, take this moment to practice detachment with grace. Own your power by choosing where your attention goes. This shift will not just change how she sees you, but more importantly, how you see yourself. And that, my friend, is the real game changer. Number 3, the Stoic mindset behind emotional independence. When she realizes you're no longer interested, something shifts, a subtle but profound change in the dynamic. And at the heart of that shift lies something far deeper than just attraction or rejection. It's about emotional independence, a cornerstone of the Stoic mindset that transforms how you relate to yourself and to others. You need to understand this, not just intellectually, but so deeply that it becomes a living, breathing part of how you show up in the world. Because when you master emotional independence, you hold a quiet power that can't be shaken by the ups and downs of relationships. Here's the thing. Emotional independence isn't about shutting off your feelings or pretending you don't care. It's about owning your emotions without letting them control you. Said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This means your happiness, your peace, your sense of worth. None of it should hinge on someone else's actions, approval, or even love. That might sound harsh at first, but it's actually liberating. When you're emotionally independent, you don't chase validation or cling to what's not meant for you. Instead, you cultivate an inner fortress that remains steady no matter what happens outside. Imagine how different it feels to step away from attachment and expectation, to not wait by the phone, anxious about her response, to not twist yourself into knots trying to decode every text or action. That space, where you don't need her to confirm your value, is where your power grows. This is not coldness or indifference. It's a calm, steady presence rooted in knowing your own worth and living in accordance with your values, not whims of others. And the beauty. When you embody this, it changes everything. She senses it. It shifts her perception of you because you're no longer a puzzle to solve or a prize to win. You become a man who walks with purpose and peace. So how do you cultivate this? Start by turning your attention inward. Reflect daily on what's truly within your control, your thoughts, your actions, your attitude. Notice when you start leaning on external things for happiness or reassurance, and gently bring yourself back. Practice grounding yourself in the present moment, letting go of fears about the future or regrets about the past. Epictetus taught that it's not events that disturb us but our judgments about them. Challenge those judgments. Ask yourself, is this really out of my hands? Can I choose how I respond right now? When you do, you reclaim your emotional independence. Another powerful practice is setting clear personal boundaries. Know what you will and won't tolerate, not just from others, but from yourself. Boundaries create respect, both inward and outward. They help you maintain your integrity and self-respect. And when she sees you standing firm in your boundaries, it shifts the dynamic. Power is not about dominance. It's about sovereignty over your own mind and heart. Take action by embracing solitude, not as loneliness, but as a chance to reconnect with yourself. Spend time without distractions. No phone, no social media, just you, your thoughts, and your values. Use that time to ask, who am I without external validation? What do I truly want from life? Answering these questions builds the foundation of emotional independence. Remember, this shift won't happen overnight. It's a practice, a way of life. But every step you take away from dependency and toward autonomy is a step toward real freedom. As Seneca said, he is most powerful who has power over himself. So start today. Build that power. Because when you do, you won't just survive her realizing you're no longer interested. You'll thrive in a way that no external circumstance can touch. Number 4, how she perceives your shift and the psychological impact. When she realizes you're no longer interested, there's a subtle but profound shift happening in her mind. It's not just about the fact that your attention has faded. It's about how she perceives that change and the ripple effect it creates in her emotions and sense of control. You see, attraction and connection are deeply tied to the energy you project. When you step back, when you detach without drama, something stirs inside her. She starts to notice the space you're leaving, the quiet absence of pursuit, and that's where the psychological shift takes root. It's not a punishment or a game. It's a natural consequence of your choice to prioritize your own peace and value. You might wonder why this matters so much. Why does your withdrawal impact her so strongly? Because, from a Stoic perspective, the dynamics of desire and attention hinge on perception and control. When you pull away calmly without bitterness or desperation, you reclaim your own agency. You show that your worth isn't tethered to her validation. Seneca reminds us, if a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. You have chosen your direction, your inner peace, and that choice resonates louder than any words. She senses it, even if she doesn't say it outright. That's when power subtly shifts, not through force, but through your steady withdrawal. This shift unsettles the usual balance she was accustomed to. Suddenly, the familiar pattern, where she might have taken your attention for granted, is disrupted. That disruption triggers reflection. It's uncomfortable because it exposes assumptions and expectations she had about your availability. Stoicism teaches that discomfort is a teacher. Here, it's teaching her about the value of your presence, about respect, and about the cost of taking someone's interest lightly. But more than that, your shift invites her to see you as a whole person, not just someone waiting in the wings. Now, what should you do with this knowledge? You need to hold your ground firmly. Don't rush back to fill the void you created. Resist the urge to explain, to justify, or to plead. Advised, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Your power is in your calmness and clarity, in your self-respect. When she observes this, she's forced to not just her feelings, but her approach to you and to relationships in general. You're teaching by example that your emotional economy is not for anyone else to manipulate. Here's a practical exercise for you. Practice detachment with intention. When you feel the impulse to reach out or seek reassurance, pause. Ask yourself, am I acting from a place of need or from a place of strength? Shift your focus back to yourself. Cultivate interests, goals, and habits that fulfill you independently of her response. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about embodying a life of purpose that no one else controls. The Stoics called this self-sufficiency, and it's the cornerstone of true power. Remember, this process isn't about hurting her or punishing her. It's about reclaiming your own space and dignity. When you do this consistently, the psychological impact on her is profound. She sees you not as a prize to be won, but as a man who values himself deeply. That perception changes everything. It alters the energy between you and places you firmly in the driver's seat of your own emotions. So as you navigate this shift, keep your mind steady. Practice patience, maintain your boundaries, and above all, honor yourself. When you live from this place of inner strength, the power you hold is authentic and lasting. And that, ultimately, is the true Stoic shift in power, calm, unshakable, and deeply respected. Number 5, reclaiming your inner peace and control through Stoicism. When she realizes you're no longer interested, something shifts, not just between you two, but inside you as well. This moment, raw and real, offers you a chance to reclaim what truly matters, your inner peace and control. That's the core of the Stoic shift in power. It's not about manipulation or games. It's about stepping back, steadying yourself, and holding firm in your own center. You see, the power isn't in making her notice your absence or longing. It's in mastering how you respond. Epictetus said it best: "No man is free who is not master of himself." So, when you pull back your attention, your desire, your energy, you're not losing something. You're gaining sovereignty over your own mind and emotions. This isn't about playing hard to get or pretending indifference. It's a profound realignment of priorities where your peace of mind takes precedence over external validation. You stop reacting to every impulse or emotional tug and start responding with deliberate calm. You begin to see the relationship, not as a source of your happiness, but as something outside you, an external event that doesn't control your internal state. That's the essence of Stoicism: understanding what's within your control and what's not, and focusing your energy only on the former. So, you reclaim your power by refusing to let another person's actions dictate your mood or self-worth. Now, this can feel uncomfortable at first. The urge to chase, to explain, to win back attention is strong. But here's the challenge and the invitation to build resilience. Practice pausing before reacting. Breathe deeply. Remind yourself that your value isn't tied to her recognition or your current situation. Advised, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Let this be your mantra. When thoughts about her pulling away creep in, return your focus inward. What can you do right now to cultivate calm? What small action, reading, meditating, journaling, can you take to reinforce your stability? Try this exercise. Every day, spend a few minutes reflecting on what you can control. Write down your thoughts and feelings, but always end by listing what's outside your control. This trains your mind to distinguish between what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Gradually, you'll notice the pull of external drama lessening, replaced by a quiet strength that no one can shake. That is the power shift Stoicism talks about. It's not in making her chase you, but in you mastering yourself. As you embody this mindset, you'll also notice a subtle transformation in how she perceives you. Not because you're playing games, but because your calm confidence radiates without effort. There's an undeniable allure in a man who doesn't crumble when faced with rejection or loss. This shift is magnetic. It comes from a deep place of self-possession. Remember, you're not defined by who is interested in you at any given moment. Your worth is inherent, rooted in your virtue and self-mastery. So take action now. When you feel the temptation to reach out or prove your worth, pause and ask yourself, is this within my control? Does this serve my peace? Let your answers guide your behavior. This disciplined approach not only preserves your dignity but strengthens it. It's the quiet power that turns moments of loss into opportunities for growth. In the end, reclaiming your inner peace through Stoicism isn't just about one relationship. It's about building a foundation that will carry you through all of life's ups and downs. You become a man who stands tall, regardless of circumstance, because his power comes from within. And that kind of power, it leaves a lasting impression far beyond the surface, one that speaks of resilience, wisdom, and true freedom. And there you have it, the subtle yet undeniable shift that happens the moment you step back and stop chasing. Remember, true power isn't about control or manipulation. It's about mastering yourself and embracing your own peace. When you stop seeking approval, you reclaim your freedom, and that's when the real respect follows. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because the journey to inner strength and Stoic wisdom has only just begun. Stay grounded, stay calm, stay powerful until next time. He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. Seneca. What if I told you that every time you scroll through someone else's highlight reel, whether it's their promotion, their vacation, or even their morning routine, you're quietly sabotaging your own happiness? You might think comparison is harmless, just a fleeting thought, but it's quietly shaping your emotions, your self-worth, and even the way you see the world. Imagine living in a state where your value isn't dictated by someone else's accomplishments, where you wake up each day free from the shadow of envy, and where your focus is entirely on mastering your own life. That's not some distant dream. It's something Stoic philosophy has been teaching for centuries, and it's within your reach. In this video, we'll uncover the exact reasons why comparing yourself to others will always leave you frustrated, anxious, and dissatisfied. More importantly, I'll share practical Stoic strategies to break this cycle and reclaim your inner peace. Stay with me until the very end, because the most powerful insights, the ones that can actually transform the way you think and feel, are saved for last. By the time you finish watching, you'll see comparison in a completely new light. Number 1, recognize that comparison is a trap of the mind. The first step to freeing yourself from the misery of comparison is simply to recognize it for what it truly is, a trap of the mind. Comparison is seductive. It whispers to you that someone else's life is better, their achievements greater, their happiness fuller. But that whisper is a trick, a mirage crafted by your own perceptions and judgments. Reminds us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The moment you allow yourself to believe that your value is measured against someone else's path, you surrender your power. You start to live in a constant state of discontent, chasing illusions rather than cultivating your own reality. The first act of liberation is seeing this clearly and numbing it. Say to yourself, this is a trap. This is my mind playing a game that doesn't serve me. Once you've recognized the trap, the next step is to interrupt it. Every time you notice yourself drifting into comparison, scrolling, watching, observing with envy, pause, take a breath. Literally stop what you're doing and bring your attention inward. Ask yourself, am I gaining insight here, or am I feeding my discontent? This pause creates a space, a moment where you reclaim agency. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By becoming aware of when your mind is falling for this trap, you start to reclaim mastery. You shift from being a passive participant in your thoughts to an active observer, someone who can choose where to focus their energy. A practical exercise is to journal your thoughts when you catch yourself comparing. Write down exactly what you're thinking and feeling. Don't censor or rationalize. Simply observe. Then for each thought, ask yourself, is this within my control? Can I change it, or am I wasting energy on what I cannot? This is Stoic practice in action. Over time, you'll start noticing patterns, the triggers that lead to comparison, and the automatic responses your mind generates. Awareness is the first step toward change, and writing it down reinforces that awareness. Another key practice is to reframe the comparison in a Stoic way. Instead of seeing someone else's success as a reflection of your lack, see it as an opportunity for reflection. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow in my own way without undermining my peace? Comparison, when viewed through the lens of judgment and desire, is toxic. But when transformed into curiosity and self-reflection, it becomes a tool for growth rather than a weapon against yourself. Seneca said, "He is most powerful who has power over himself." Power, real power, comes from shifting your focus inward, from cultivating your own strengths and virtues rather than chasing someone else's shadow. Finally, create an environment that reinforces this practice. Limit exposure to triggers that prompt comparison. Surround yourself with reminders of your own journey, your own progress. Practice gratitude for what you have, for the skills you're developing, for the small victories that are entirely yours. Each time you catch yourself in the comparison trap, pause, reflect, and consciously choose to redirect your attention to what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, your effort. This repeated habit rewires your mind. Over time, you'll find that the urge to compare diminishes. The trap loses its grip. You reclaim your peace, your focus, and your sense of worth. Recognizing comparison as a trap is the gateway to freedom. It allows you to see the illusion for what it is and take deliberate steps to disengage from it. Your value is not borrowed from someone else's achievements. Your happiness is not contingent on another person's life. Every moment you refuse the trap, you strengthen your mastery over your mind and claim the calm, steady, unshakable serenity that Stoicism promises. Number 2, focus only on what is within your control. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life, and the cornerstone of breaking free from the trap of comparison, is learning to focus only on what is within your control. So much of the misery that comes from looking at others stems from obsessing over things you have no power over. Someone else's achievements, their possessions, their recognition, their path. Stoicism teaches that your energy is precious, and wasting it on forces outside yourself is like trying to hold water in your hands. It slips through no matter how tightly you grasp. Said it perfectly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. The moment you internalize this, you start to untangle yourself from the endless cycle of envy and frustration. Here's the key. You can't control what others do, how they behave, or what they achieve. But you can control your effort, your attitude, your choices, your mindset. The people who seem enviable, they aren't magic. They are simply operating within their own circle of control. And so can you. By turning your attention inward and focusing on your actions, your discipline, and your character, you reclaim your power. You stop being a spectator in someone else's story and start being the author of your own. That alone begins to dissolve the gnawing feeling of inadequacy that comparison feeds on. Start small. Each time you notice yourself drifting into comparison, pause, ask yourself, is this something I can influence or am I chasing shadows? Take a deep breath. Remind yourself that your worth is not measured by someone else's life, their accolades, or their timeline. Your world, your growth, your effort, that is where your energy should live. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your focus is your reaction. If you allow it to wander outside your control, misery creeps in. If you train it to return to your own choices, peace flourishes. Here's a practical exercise. Every morning, take a moment and make a list of things that are truly under your control for that day. Not vague aspirations or things dependent on others, but specific actions you can take, habits you can maintain, attitudes you can cultivate. It could be as simple as how you approach a task, how much effort you invest, or the way you respond to challenges. Then, when thoughts of others creeping into your mind arise, remind yourself of your list. Focus on it. Redirect your energy there. Over time, this becomes automatic. Your mind stops wandering into unproductive comparisons and instead finds clarity in your own sphere of influence. Another exercise is reflection at night. Think back over the day. Where did you spend energy on things beyond your control? Where did you give weight to what was irrelevant to your growth? Simply observing this without judgment is powerful. Then ask yourself, tomorrow, how can I focus more on my own actions, my own discipline, my own progress? This practice rewires your mind to prioritize internal mastery over external distraction, and it slowly erodes the habit of looking outward for validation. Remember, focusing on what is within your control doesn't make life smaller, it makes it freer. When you stop trying to manipulate outcomes beyond your reach, you stop punishing yourself with comparison. You start channeling all your energy into improvement, into calmness, into a life that is genuinely yours. Seneca said, If a man knows not which port he sails, no wind is favorable. When you chart your own course, guided by your own actions and values, every effort is meaningful. You stop chasing illusions and start building substance. So take the control that is rightfully yours. Anchor your mind, dedicate your actions, and let the world of others be just that, their world. Your world is yours to govern, and within it, you can cultivate mastery, serenity, and genuine progress. That's the antidote to misery, and that's the Stoic way to live free from comparison. Number 3, understand that everyone's journey is unique. One of the most liberating truths you can embrace is that everyone's journey is unique. You might catch yourself measuring your progress against someone else's milestones, wondering why they seem to be ahead, or feeling frustrated because your life doesn't look like theirs. But here's the reality. No two paths are the same, and the universe doesn't owe you a synchronized timeline with anyone else. Reminds us, everything that happens as it should, and if you observe carefully, you will find this to be so. Your path has its own rhythm, its own lessons, its own timing, and recognizing this is a profound act of self-respect. Comparing yourself to someone else is like trying to walk someone else's path in your own shoes. They simply weren't made for you. The sooner you internalize this, the sooner you free yourself from unnecessary frustration, envy, and dissatisfaction. You have to actively remind yourself that the only life you need to navigate is your own. This means resisting the urge to glance at others' achievements as a measure of your worth. In Stoic terms, externals, status, wealth, recognition, are indifferent. They are not inherently good or bad. Their value only comes from how you perceive them. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If you let someone else's journey dictate your sense of success, you are handing over control of your emotions. Instead, focus on your own growth, your own values, and your own goals. Your progress is valid simply because it is yours, unfolding in its own time and shape. To turn this into a practical habit, start by observing your reactions whenever you catch yourself comparing. Notice the subtle tension, the discomfort, the little whisper of inadequacy. Then pause, breathe, remind yourself, this is someone else's path, not mine. You can even say it aloud. I am on my own journey, and that is enough. Doing this regularly rewires your brain to detach from external validation and cultivate internal grounding. The mind craves comparison because it's a shortcut to judgment, but you can teach it a new pattern: curiosity about your own growth instead of envy of another's. Another exercise is to reflect on your milestones, even the small ones. Write them down, celebrate them, recognize that progress isn't linear and that every step, no matter how small, matters. Stoicism encourages us to focus on the process, not the outcome. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Every moment you spend obsessing over someone else's journey is a moment you steal from cultivating your own life. Reclaim that energy. Reinvest it in your practice, your craft, your self-improvement. Over time, you'll notice a shift. You are more content, more grounded, and less swayed by external comparisons. And remember, understanding that everyone's journey is unique is not about complacency. It's about perspective. It's about freeing yourself to make choices aligned with your values, rather than chasing the illusion of someone else's success. It's about seeing the world clearly, acknowledging that every life is a mosaic of different experiences, challenges, and opportunities. When you stop comparing, you stop competing in a race that doesn't exist. You start running your own race, on your own terms, at your own pace, with your own joy guiding each step. So take a moment now. Reflect on your life. Appreciate your growth. Recognize that the only person you need to measure yourself against is the person you were yesterday. Commit to walking your path fully, with awareness, patience, and gratitude. This is not only a Stoic approach, it's a liberating one. When you truly understand that everyone's journey is unique, you unlock the key to inner peace, self-respect, and resilience, and you'll never again let someone else's life define your happiness. Number 4, shift attention from others' achievements to your own growth. When you find yourself constantly measuring your life against the accomplishments of others, you're setting yourself up for a cycle of endless dissatisfaction. You're looking outward for validation, and that's a trap. The truth is, the only life you can shape and influence is your own. Shift your attention inward. Focus on your growth, your learning, your progress, no matter how small it seems. Wrote, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Notice how he doesn't talk about others, about comparison, about what anyone else is doing. The emphasis is entirely on action, on improvement, on being better today than you were yesterday. That's the mindset you need to cultivate. Comparison steals your energy, your clarity, your joy. Growth gives it back, piece by piece, moment by moment. Start by creating a clear picture of what progress looks like for you, not in abstract terms, but in concrete, measurable ways. This is where reflection comes in. Ask yourself, what skills do I want to develop? Which habits will move me closer to the life I want to live? What steps today can I take that will leave me stronger tomorrow? Shift your gaze from what others have accomplished to what you are capable of achieving. Seneca reminds us, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor. When you constantly compare yourself to others, you are chasing illusions, not building substance. But when you focus on your own growth, you are accumulating real wealth, the kind that resides in skill, character, and resilience. This doesn't mean you ignore the world around you or pretend others don't exist. It means you refuse to let their achievements define your worth. You take note of inspiration, not envy. You learn from what others do well, but you use it to fuel your own progress, not to diminish your confidence. One practical exercise is to journal your personal wins at the end of each day. List 3 ways you improved, 3 steps you took toward your goals, or 3 moments where you handled yourself better than before. Over time, this habit trains your mind to see your growth as the primary measure of success. You begin to notice that your journey is unique, valuable, and sufficient. Another key practice is to pause whenever you feel the itch to compare. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me grow or is it undermining me? Shift your mental energy from the external to the internal. Turn envy into curiosity. Let admiration fuel learning, not self-doubt. Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. This is about action, not judgment. Show yourself through what you do, through how you improve, through the discipline of your own habits. The more you embed this into your daily life, the less power comparison has over you, because your focus becomes a steady, unwavering light on your own path. Finally, remind yourself that growth is not linear. Some days you'll feel behind, some days ahead. Stoicism teaches patience, persistence, and perspective. Your only job is to keep moving forward, cultivating your skills, your mindset, your resilience. Let the achievements of others exist in their sphere, and let your progress exist in yours. When you make your growth the measure of success, you free yourself from the tyranny of comparison. You reclaim energy, focus, and most importantly, your peace. Shift your attention. Focus inward. Build yourself, not illusions. Your life, your growth, your potential, that is where real satisfaction lies. Comparison can never steal it if you refuse to let it. Number 5, cultivate gratitude for what you already have. The most powerful antidote to the misery of comparison is gratitude. When you constantly measure your life against others, you invite dissatisfaction into every corner of your mind. You overlook what is already yours in pursuit of what belongs to someone else. Stoicism teaches that happiness isn't found in acquiring more. It's found in recognizing the value of what you already possess. Seneca said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future. Think about that for a moment. Your life, your health, your mind, the opportunities that exist right now, all of these are already gifts, yet they often go unnoticed because your gaze is fixated outward. Gratitude flips that focus inward, turning your attention toward abundance instead of lack. And when you do this consistently, your mindset transforms. You can begin cultivating gratitude immediately, and it doesn't require grand gestures or complicated rituals. Start with a simple practice. Each morning or evening, take a few minutes to reflect on 3 things in your life that you truly appreciate. They don't have to be monumental. Even small details, a moment of quiet, the ability to think clearly, your resilience, are worthy of acknowledgement. The key is to slow down, notice, and savor these aspects of your life. By actively observing the positives, you train your mind to see abundance where it previously saw scarcity. Epictetus reminds us, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." That is the core of Stoic gratitude, celebrating your own life, rather than longing for what others possess. But let's take this a step further. Gratitude isn't just an intellectual exercise, it's something you embody through action. Try this. When you notice the urge to compare, pause and counter it immediately with a gratitude reflection. For example, if you catch yourself envying someone's success, stop and silently acknowledge the resources, skills, or qualities you have that allow you to progress in your own way. Feel that recognition ripple through you. Let it settle in your body and mind. With practice, this becomes a reflex. Your first response shifts from envy to appreciation, and that simple habit rewires your emotional responses over time. Another powerful exercise is to engage your senses. Walk through your environment and notice what is present that often goes unappreciated. The feel of sunlight on your skin, the sound of wind, the rhythm of your own breath. These seemingly mundane details are treasures, and acknowledging them grounds you in the present, away from the distortions of comparison. Gratitude isn't just about thought, it's about perception. The more you train yourself to perceive life's richness, the less power external comparisons have over you. You can also make gratitude social. Expressing appreciation for people around you, without expectation or obligation, reinforces this mindset. Gratitude becomes contagious. The more you actively recognize the good in your own life and in others, the less you feel the need to compete, the less you crave validation, and the more centered you become. Gratitude becomes your shield against the restlessness that comparison breeds. Ultimately, cultivating gratitude rewires your perspective. It changes the lens through which you view the world. Instead of seeing gaps and deficits, you see wholeness and opportunity. Instead of measuring your life against others, you measure it against your own growth and values. As said, dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. The beauty is already here. It has always been here. Your task is to notice it, embrace it, and let it anchor your peace. When you do, comparison loses its grip, envy dissolves, and contentment becomes a natural companion in every moment. So the next time you catch yourself measuring your life against someone else's highlight reel, remember this: comparison is the thief of your peace. Stoicism teaches us that the only life you need to master is your own, and the only approval that truly matters is your own. If you take just one thing from today's video, let it be this: your worth is not found in how you stack up against others, but in how faithfully you live according to your values and purpose. When you stop comparing, you start creating. When you stop chasing, you start living. Now I want you to take a moment. Breathe, reflect, and ask yourself, am I living for me or for the world's applause? If you found value in this, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And don't stop here. Explore the rest of the channel for practical Stoic tools to reclaim your calm, focus, and inner freedom. Remember, the moment you stop comparing, you begin truly living. Keep this with you and let it guide every choice you make.